This initiative is not something that can be created by a few people. It is an initiative that is a culmination of knowledge from teachers, from gurus, from seniors, from mentors. So in no way it can be an initiative of few people. It is an initiative of hundreds of people like all of you here. I have multiple of my teachers sitting in this, so I request their permission to start and sharing the ideas for the fellowship. When we discussed the broad contours of the fellowship, we began discussing about what India needs right now. We discussed about what India may need in the future. We discussed about what kind of youth do we want to have. We discussed about can there be a nurture that we can provide to the youth? Can there be any way in which we can mold the youth in any particular direction? For us, the answer was partly yes, partly no. It was partly yes because we all have been nurtured by people who have been gurus to us. We have been nurtured by organizations, people, networks who have shaped the way we have really become what we are. And that's when we felt that there is probably some merit in trying this further. In the last 6 months, we talked to around 80 senior people who have been mentors in their respective capacity across different platforms. We also discussed this idea with hundreds of young people. Some of us are sitting in this room who have gone through a similar experience themselves. Talked about what they need, talked about what their needs might have been, talked about what the senior people feel about young people and the mentorship needs of them. And we talked to young people about what do they feel is what will prepare them for the future. Based on all of this, this entire idea has come up. So I request your attention and feedback probably on the idea. The tagline for this is what we have kept as nurturing impactful lives. The idea for that is that we are trying to create people whose life would be impactful. So it's not about creating individuals itself, but it's about creating life journeys which will be impactful for the nation. As we said in the video as well, India is currently transforming. As India is transforming, the complexity of each problem that we are solving is also increasing. As this increases, we will need more people and we will need even more fresher approaches to solve them. Approaches that have created these problems cannot be replicated and copied to solve them. This fresh approach is what we are trying to create via this fellowship. And we want these youth to describe India's development journey. 3 key elements of the fellowship: self-awareness, purposiveness, and passion. All of this is definitely not our idea. It is driven by people who have really inspired all of us sitting in this room. Swami Vivekananda's thought. He mentioned we need people who are harmonious in their existence. People who have harmony in their existence itself. Harmony between their head, harmony in their heart, and harmony in their hands. We need people who can feel at heart, think at minds, and head, and do from their hands. That's what this fellowship is about. We believe this fellowship to be a strategic investment. It's an investment because it talks about the needs of the future. The investment is on 2 ends. On one end, we are talking about investing in human capital. On the other end, we are talking about investing in grassroots organizations. Organizations which are solving these problems for years, who have really worked on the ground, are well engrossed in the communities they work in. And we want to augment the capacity to fundamentally solve the unique problems that India faces or that community faces. The whole belief, as I mentioned, is based on Swamiji's belief on the power and potential of youth. And this youth will drive us in various forms. They will drive ideas, they will run movements, they will nurture organizations, and fundamentally seek dharma, as we could translate in English, truth and justice. And all of this is not being done in solitude. It is being done to build a better Bharat together. That's the idea of the fellowship. If I look at little nitty-gritties of the entire idea, at the core of the fellowship is a lot of guided reflection. We cannot build people from outside. It has to be deeply engraved and deeply imbibed in the nature of the individual. So the fellowship will include a lot of guided reflective sessions that the fellows will go through in order to understand and build a better Bharat. This is not being done at an individual level, but the goal is to build a community of people who will not stay connected only because they share a surname, because they share a geography, share a college, share an organization, share a network. They are together because they share a vision of building a Bharat together. When we talk about this, it's important for them to be exposed to the right kind of mentorship, which I mentioned at the beginning. It's important for them to identify the right role models for them. People who have devoted their lifetimes to social cause, lifetime devoted to communities, empowering communities, We need them to join them and provide the expert mentorship that their life journeys have provided them with. At the end of it, we also want to support them. Support them in every possible way. For young people, it can be in the form of finances, it can be in the form of guidance, it can be in the form of mentorship, or it can be in the form of just capacity building. On the other end, just logistics, this is a 100-week program. This was heavily discussed and contested with all our mentors and seniors. 1 year would be too short, 3 years would be too long. Probably 100 weeks is the time that we will need to build a culture of excellence, to engrave in them the idea that social change or social impact has to be driven by the idea of pursuing excellence. When we built this, we understood that they have to go and work on the ground. These ideas are good when they're listening in rooms like this, but they are really made practical when they go on the ground. So these fellows who devote the entire journey of 100 weeks, largest component would be on the field where they are assigned a project. They are working with a host organization in which they are working on some development challenges that India is facing. Overall, this needs to be well encased in a curriculum that prepares them not only for the challenges they would solve in these 100 weeks, but challenges of the future. So it has to be multidisciplinary. It has to engrave learnings and the best of different worlds that they would come from and build into one. That's the idea of the fellowship. If I look at in deeper details, identifying these young people would be our biggest challenge. That's what we have identified as the biggest challenge. So we would definitely need all of your help. But broadly, once we have people who want to do something like this, and if you look at Sewa team, it gives a good imagination of how young people might be interested in this. Our team average age is 26. And they come in from all different disciplines, from lawyers to CAs to people from engineering backgrounds to people from rural management to people who have done MBA, people who have been from different fields and who are all devoted to this. So there is definitely scope for this. This has been seen by Venkatesh ji in Youth for Sewa. This has been seen by Balu sir in SVYM. Young people who really want to do something. So in the selection process, we have kept it threefold. On the first stage, we usually just get to know each other. They share about their life journeys. They share about their aspirations. And we share about what we stand for as a fellowship. On the second stage is what we call a check for patrata. In Hindi, there is a beautiful word that a person should be patra of getting the knowledge or the required mentorship. In a Guru Shishya tradition, it is said that the Shishya has to be capable or patra to get the required knowledge. In the second stage, we check if the person is coming with a full pot or an empty pot, or a half empty pot at least. There should be some space that the person is willing to unlearn. Some places where the person is looking for more knowledge and is genuinely curious. 3 things that we are trying to test in this. 1, a respect for community wisdom. Wherever they work, they need to be respectful of the culture and the tradition these communities come from. They need to respect the solutions that the community has built for itself. The second thing that we are testing in this round is curiosity and humility. We want these people to be genuinely curious about the world. Not imagine things, not make a lot of hypotheses, but be genuinely curious. The humility of curiosity is what we are testing in this. And the third is the canvas of time and space they would operate in. Social change is a long-term change. It is not brought overnight. Can they imagine a long-term change? Do they have the perseverance in their thought and actions to understand that change will take time? And I have to be there and serve for that long in order to bring some change to the communities I am working with. The third layer, the third filter, will create for testing people on their temperament, on their mindset, on their willpower, or iksha. This will be in the form of a camp, and if we bring them together, take our gurus with us, take people who have devoted their lifetime to the cause. ऐसे लोगों के साथ जिन्होंने पूरा जीवन समाज के कार्य के लिए दिया. उनकी understanding of human beings is better than any other test can provide. ऐसा कहते हैं हमारे यहाँ कि बड़ों में व्यक्ति की समझ होती है. हम उस समझ को इस्तेमाल करना चाहते हैं. We want to test them based on the understanding of the gurus. They would stay together, serve in a community. We want to test them on their rigor, test them on how comfortable they are when they are staying with the community. Test them for their empathy and test them how collaboratively they can work, especially with people who are different in their work styles. These are the 3 layers in which we want every fellow to go through, every fellow aspirant to go through to finally select our fellows. Who would be a good fellow? So for us, a good fellow would be someone who has the 3 components that Swami Vivekananda says, head, heart and hand. But for this, we have taken a level of abstraction from this. The layer is the people who are good at third people who would know how to do things well would be people who would be demonstrating good amounts of passion. That's the three criteria that we have. In terms of logistics, the age bracket that we're looking for is 21 to 30. We're looking for people who have some volunteer experience. They should know that life is not quid pro quo. They should know that I should serve because without aspiring to get something out of it. These are the people we want from some. They should understand what being a contributor means. So we have kept 1 year or equivalent of experience in their careers, and we imagine that they would come aware, or they would come being knowledgeable about the languages that the community in which they would work to be aware of, because we want that they work with the community. So language constraints would be a constraint. What happens when they join? That brings us to the second part. We talk about the curriculum. The curriculum is again an abstraction of the 3H of Swami Vivekananda. As we say, that the head will bring in the Gyan Shakti, the knowledge. It will talk to them about being knowledgeable about various aspects of working in a social sector. The hands would be a demonstration of the skills, the Kriya Shakti. It will tell them about, it will teach them, guide them, mentor them about different skills that are required to do better at their work when they're working on the ground. And at the heart, it's developing the Iksha Shakti or the willpower. It's via this, we develop a good sevak, a good seva bhava in the individuals. This is all based on Swamiji's philosophy, and that's what keeps guiding us. If you look at how do we create this, so we talk about beginning with a fellow who is purposive, passionate, and having a good self-awareness. We talked about nurturing them with knowledge, skills, and willpower. Overall,